In the quiet countryside of medieval England, there was a village where life rarely changed. Farmers had worked the same fields their fathers had worked before them. Church bells marked the hour. The seasons came and went. Nothing unusual ever happened there. Until the day the villagers heard crying, coming from the bottom of a wolf pit, where they looked inside and they expected to find an animal. Instead, they found something no one could explain. 2 children. Terrified, speaking words no one understood. And according to witnesses who pulled them from the earth, their skin was the color of green leaves. The children came from a place no one had ever heard of, a place where light was dim and the sun never fully shined. Historians even wrote about it. Villagers swore it happened, and centuries later, no one had ever been able to explain it. Because sometimes the strangest mysteries in history don't come from ghosts or monsters. They come from people who appear out of nowhere and bring with them stories from places that shouldn't exist. Tonight, we're digging in one of the most unsettling medieval legends ever recorded, the mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit. Hey, y'all, this is Hauntmates, and that's my boo, Jeffrey.
And that's my boo, Mallory.
I almost wanted to go boo like a ghost.
That'd be funny.
I don't know about you, but I've really been enjoying spring this year.
So have I. It's been really nice, especially since we have like a patio and everything like that.
And we're about to get new furniture.
We're getting new furniture for it like this week, right?
Yeah. Our old one like rotted out, like literally.
I mean, we'd only had it for 7 years.
Yeah. And it was $100.
Yeah, it was like $100 on Amazon. It got its use.
It literally got its use, but it was very, very cheap. But it did pretty well, especially for being on Texas patio in Texas heat and sun.
Yeah.
I think it did really well because usually Texas sun like destroys patio furniture easily.
Real quick.
Kind of scared about our wickered one.
We got the cover.
We got a cover. And also, too, I feel like you have to have wickered.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's so Southern. I love it. But I will say, I think I've been enjoying springtime more.
Yeah.
Than October, fall, Halloween. I said it, I know.
Is this an intervention?
I don't know. I feel like I should like fall and Halloween more, but it's so fucking hot in Texas, I can't enjoy it.
Yeah. Maybe we should go up north in the Halloween time.
Yes. Okay, so going back to talking normal. I felt like bad for almost admitting that.
Yeah.
Because I love the spooky and the weird and the strange. And, look at our podcast, but it's so hot in October. It's kind of hard to enjoy,
Yeah, it's
summertime.
Yeah. It's like what other states have in summertime. It's that in October here.
No shit. But it's funny because we had, so speaking of springtime and how I think it's my favorite right now, because I do different Spotify playlists for different seasons and different like times of the day. So I have like a Twilight Tunes one. Because, my Twilight shirt. Even though it's very hoa weather right now, I'm trying to bring like the spring vibe because I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I also found out that I'm a soft spring in my color wheel. So that's why I did my hair color this one.
I thought you were soft autumn.
No. So, okay. I self-analyzed with like my makeup and stuff I was wearing. And then I was like, I realized, oh no, I'm wearing the colors that I want to wear. And so, online they have a bunch of little color wheels and TikTok has those things. And I think I'm a soft spring.
What do you think I am?
You're an autumn. You're for sure an autumn.
Why is that?
You have more of a yellow undertone to your skin. Like you're warmer. And I don't know, gold and like warm tone colors like oranges, mustards, like they look good on you. Like greens.
Dark reds,
yeah.
Fall colors, yeah. So I went to Merit Coffee and I wanted to go get me a strawberry matcha. And when I was checking out and stuff, I kept staring at the girl's eyelashes and I was just like, you have the prettiest eyelashes ever. You could tell like she got them done, but they were very like thick. Yeah.
And like, but they got wispy at the very end. And she goes, oh, thanks. I decided to go blue. And I was like, okay, stop. I was wondering if they were blue, but I couldn't tell because they were so dark. They were the prettiest
freaking things.
That's cool.
And then she had like a light pale blue like dress shirt, but it was all very young looking.
Yeah.
You know, it was very youthful. It was very cute. But so we were talking about how we enjoy spring and stuff like that. So now with this like hoa hoa weather happening, we can listen to my new spring mix because I have a spring mix for the day.
Oh.
And then I have a spring storm for like
night.
At night or like
rainy weather.
Yeah, during springtime. Because I want to listen to my Twilight Tunes one, but at the same time, I feel like that's very fall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Twilight's very fall to me.
Yeah. Same.
Well, the second Twilight.
Yeah.
You're like, sure, okay.
No, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, because you see me, I'll just be having them on during the, it's just background ambiance.
Remember that one time I was at work and I texted you and I was like, did you just buy Twilight?
Yeah. And it was like every day.
Yeah.
Because like, was it a day I was sick? Or that week I was sick? Or
I think it was just when the office was closed.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah, it was like, I don't know. It was just like, I feel like it was like a couple days in a row. And then you were like, you commented saying, wait, I thought you were done with the movies. And I was like, Breaking Dawn Part 2, bitch. We're going to get out of, I know it's right now, it's raining and it's overcast and it's absolutely beautiful outside. But we're going to maybe travel somewhere where it looks a little different.
And how does it look?
There may be even a Twilight mentioned in here of a time. So we'll see. It may all tie in together. I didn't realize that until just now. I'm a mastermind. Okay, so the story takes place in the 12th century. So this is during the reign of King Stephen of England. So this is very like medieval times.
Yeah, medieval times. And
not to be confused with
the food place that serves Pepsi.
They serve Pepsi?
Medieval times.
That's so random.
Remember when we watched The Cable Guy that one time?
No, I don't remember.
With Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick?
No. Oh, yes, but not really.
He says something about...
they go to the medieval times, yes.
Yeah. And he goes, can I get a Coke? She goes, we only have Pepsi products, and it's Janine Garofalo.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's okay.
Okay, so anyways. Okay, so Woolpit was a tiny farming village in Suffolk? That place. I've been struggling for about 3 takes now, so Jeff's just going to take it over. So it got its name from wolf pits, and that's where I keep getting my confusion because I want to say wolf pits.
Okay, that makes sense now.
And I keep struggling. I'm struggling. It got its name again from the wolf pit. So the wolf pits, so these were like deep pits the villagers would dig up for when the wolves would roam around the countryside, and they would like, and they would like fall in.
Gotcha.
So they would kind of be stuck.
Kind of like a reverse moat.
Like think of Shadow and Homeward Bound.
Okay. I got you.
Peter. Oh my God. I cry so hard at that movie, that ending. So imagine just like muddy fields, like small cottages, church bells, farmers working the land. Nothing truly exciting happened here.
Okay. How unfortunate.
I mean, truly medieval times. It was just surviving. So nothing ever happened here. So that's probably why what happened next truly shocked everybody. So one day during harvest season, a villager heard crying from one of the wolf pits. And when they looked down, they had found not one, but 2 children. Imagine that. Imagine working these fields and you hear crying in the distance. You think should be maybe a wolf in there, maybe with a child, because who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that stuff happened, a kid maybe sees a trapped animal and I can imagine them going around and what else would you do back in the day?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh wow, we trapped another wolf. Let's go look, and I'm sure they act. People fall into the Grand Canyon accidentally all the time.
Yeah, that's true. People fall off the things at Top Golf.
No thanks. When they went to go look, again, they saw the 2 children. So it was a boy and a girl, and they both looked about 8 or 10 years old. So they looked very, very young.
Yeah.
And they also looked terrified. They also were very dirty, and they were wearing what they described as strange clothes. So imagine I don't know what their clothes probably look like, but I can only imagine if they thought it was strange. So It's not current fashion. It's not it'd be like maybe us seeing something like a very futuristic outfit. And we're like, okay, what are you, Xenon the 21st century? But them, it was something so completely different. So they probably have no idea what they were wearing. Watch them be time travelers and they were wearing very modern clothes. That'd be something.
That's a theory.
That's a theory. Who knows? The most disturbing thing about them, of their appearance that they've noticed, and if you saw the intro, it's their skin was green.
Why the fuck is their skin green?
Exactly.
Are they aliens?
Ooh, that's a good theory. I honestly thought that. And I almost thought of like fairy, like fae, and then I almost thought of like interdimensional beings.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, so I know like humans will have yellowness to our skin.
Yeah.
I have more of a pink undertone, but I know a lot of people that have more of like an olive or like a yellow complexion to their skin. Even like our friends that we have.
Yeah.
And I can see their skin and be like, and notice that they don't have a lot of sunspots, where me with my pink skin, I have like a shit ton of sunspots everywhere. On my shoulders, on my chest. Like, it's just Texas sun, but it's like, what makes that melanin different? Anyways, so I know people will have yellow skin as humans if like you're very, very jaundiced.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I remember in choir, there was this girl. I remember her looking so jaundiced. I mean, she looked fucking yellow. Like her teeth even looked yellow. Her gums kind of looked yellow. She just had this yellow like aura. And I was just thinking like, girl, your liver. And I was like a teenager. You know what I mean? I was in 9th grade. Not knowing anything medically, but I was just like, yeah, you look kind of jaundiced.
Yeah, you look kind of fucked up.
you look kind of yellow. Have you ever seen what they do with babies when they're like jaundiced?
Probably, but I can't remember. They put it like in like a UV thing, right?
No, literally it looks like they're tanning and they have like little mittens on and the sunglasses on. They're just like chilling. It's cute.
What's funny is the only reason I remembered it being like UV like that is because like old vintage camera lenses, they actually had like, some of them had like radioactive like cement in between them, and it would turn yellow, and you would take a UV flashlight or leave it like in a window for a while to take the yellow out.
No, that's literally how they do it. Yeah. I mean, it's literally like
Science.
Yeah. Lights. And speaking of lights, like red light is really good for you.
Oh yeah.
Not like red light like this. It has to be a certain wattage.
It has to be like a certain frequency too, right?
Yeah, a certain frequency and stuff. But let me tell you, that red light therapy truly freaking works, because I was getting that done for our wedding.
Yeah.
I was doing red light therapy with like getting microneedling. Change the game. I only did it a couple times for a year just to get ready for our wedding, but truly changes the texture of my skin.
Yeah.
It helped me get better. When the villagers pulled the children out of the pit, they immediately noticed like several strange things. Okay. So obviously they noticed the green skin, because how can you not notice that?
Yeah.
They also first noticed that the children spoke a language that no one have ever heard before. So they're not from the region. They're not from the area, right?
I'm still going with our time travelers.
Yeah, because it wasn't French, it wasn't Latin, and it wasn't anything regionally, like a regional dialect. So it was completely unknown. And the second strange thing they noticed is that they refused to eat anything the villagers gave them.
I mean, you know how picky I am.
No, but at the same time, if these kids looked dirty,
Yeah,
and they
I get what you're
looked
saying.
like they were crying, you know, like usually the normal thing is to offer food for comfort and also for nourishment. They don't know maybe how long these kids have been out. And if you're hungry, you'll eat.
Yeah.
I mean, when we went on the beach and you never liked a cold sandwich or something that wasn't like toasted.
And I was hungry as shit. And I was like, fucking give it to me. I'm telling you though, man, something about that fucking ham sandwich with those Doritos.
I mean, the
by
bread,
the ocean.
it hits. When you're hungry, it's good.
And that weird beer we had from there.
Oh, that was some weird beer.
It was good as fuck though.
I didn't care for it. I don't like beer though.
Yeah, it was.
And it has to be,
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't care for that one.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't eat bread. They wouldn't eat meat. Fruit, absolutely not. So you got to think though, in the medieval times, this was the norm to eat.
Yeah, that's all they had.
And I can imagine too, fruit was more of a, kings and queens were known to eat fruit because of how hard and rare it was to get. Like, I think oranges were really hard for, so like there's certain kings and queens that like that was their favorite snack because it was very like bougie, you know?
Gotcha.
So they're literally offering them a Lunchable with fruit. And they're like, no. I mean, I like a Lunchable.
Same.
Even an adult Lunchable. Forget the grape juice, bring the wine. These kids, they were starving though, and they didn't eat anything, but they would touch one food. So after several days, they refused anything. So someone finally brought them fresh beans.
Beans.
And then these kids immediately grabbed them like they were candy. They tore the pot open and they ate the bean inside. So apparently, where we can tell is that that is the only food they recognized. So wherever they're from, they also eat something very similar, if not the same
Beans.
type of beans. I don't think you would ever survive.
I mean, at that point, I probably would because I'd be so hungry. I'd be like, I have to eat something.
Would you actually eat beans?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I get it because, like, I don't eat beans with everything, but, like, I don't pick out beans if they're there. And it's great fiber, Jeff. I like how you look at me like, I don't give a fuck.
This isn't about me. This is about these kids that have been lost.
That was a good... I like that one. If you saw a green-skinned kid speaking another language and refusing food, what would your first thought be?
How the fuck did you end up where you were at if you know, speaking languages we don't understand?
Yeah, and how do you communicate?
True. Because, I mean, it's not like if someone was speaking like another language, you know, like, I mean, obviously I wouldn't understand it because, I mean, I can only speak English. But not like,
speak American.
And, you know, I speak English, but I can understand a little bit of Spanish, you know, but.
Yeah, we can understand a little bit of Spanish, not a lot of Spanish.
Yeah, just enough to get us in trouble if we have to.
Or like, get me water, get me out of somewhere. Just a very little bit.
Yeah.
Espanol?
Poquito.
Very poquito. Very, very poquito. I would think they were an alien. If they even knew aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, who knows what aliens to them were.
Dude, I have ruined you on thinking everything is aliens.
I know, I'm just going to think everything's aliens now.
Unexplained, it's aliens.
Don't know, it's aliens. No, honestly, I'm going to tell you what I really think at the very end.
Okay.
But honestly, it really is leaning towards aliens.
Okay.
Right now. But we'll see. So the medieval villagers that had no science to explain that. So to them, they possibly almost looked supernatural versus out of this world. Eventually, the villagers took the children in and cared for them because these poor kids, oh my gosh, it's like your natural instinct is to like care and help, you know? Over time, they began learning English. As they learned to speak English, they, again, spoke an unknown language no one learned, so I can only imagine how long this took. They started to explaining where they came from. And their story is absolutely bizarre. The children said that they came from a land called St. Martin's Land. In their world, the sun never fully shined. Everything kind of existed in a permanent twilight. Like my shirt. Could you imagine how cool that'd be?
That'd be really cool.
I'm not gonna lie, it would be kind of boring after time. Like, I would need like different seasons, different lights and stuff, you know. They said that their land was separated from another bright land by a large river. Oh my gosh, this is very ACOTAR coded. ACOTAR, like the books, like the fantasy books I read, the ACOTAR has like the whole world is like ruled by different courts.
Yeah.
And there's a night court. It's always nighttime there. There's the dawn court. It's always looking dawn. There's the spring court. It's always springtime. There's the fall court. It always looks like fall. Kind of so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that. Like the land is what.
Makes sense.
It's like their worlds are kind of separated and their worlds are so vastly different from each other.
I was going to say like Stranger Things, like the Upside Down.
I can see that too. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's another portal to like maybe a Fae world. Again, in ACOTAR, there's this like invisible wall, like, because that's how Fae is, like fairies and Fae. They're very, as a human, you can't see in, but as a Fae, you can see out and you can see that invisible shield.
Huh.
So think of it like an electrical fence that you can't see.
Okay.
But you know it's there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So like in that world, that's really cool. God, could you imagine as a human, like truly discovering that? Like that would blow your mind.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be able to comprehend it. They said that their land was separated from a bright land by a large river. So one day they were herding cattle and they heard sounds of bells and they got curious. So they followed the sound into a cave. Very Stranger Things. They wandered through the darkness, and when they finally came out, they were in fields near Woolpit. I said it right. I'm really proud of myself saying Woolpit, not Wolf Pit, because I was struggling real hard. Sadly, the boy died. Apparently, he never adjusted life well in the village, so he remained weak and sickly, and after a short time, he died. So I can only imagine they truly are from another world if he wasn't able to maybe like
Acclimate.
Yes, that's a good word. Yes. Like acclimate well.
Yeah.
But the girl, she survived. So she acclimated really well. So as she grew older, her green skin slowly faded and she eventually looked like a normal human. And she did eventually learn English fluently. Here's where like the medieval records come into play. And I love this stuff because I love when it's like historically documented.
Yeah.
Because you can't deny, like historians are saying, this is really weird. The strange thing about this story is that it wasn't just passed down again orally. Historians wrote about it. And not even just one, but two medieval historians wrote about it. So one was William of Newburgh. He was a respected chronicler, and the other was Ralph of Cogshell, an abbot. Both men recorded the story independently from each other, which is why historians take it so seriously, because not only is one historian talking about it, two historians are talking about it.
Yeah.
Not together, separate from each other. Exactly. So
in completely different areas.
Exactly. This probably was like a phenomenon. I bet it was all over the tabloids. I bet they were in their little newspaper that didn't exist. They were typing away in their medieval times. But I can imagine this news traveled fast because when you're in a boring ass village doing nothing and there's no, I mean, what do?
What do?
You spread stories. And I'm so glad that they did because now we know this story, right? Even though historians do take this story seriously, it's not necessarily proof the children were supernatural, but it is something proof that something strange really did happen. And even though we know that, again, this may not be proof of something, to me, it's very telling because I feel like if children were discovered like that, they wouldn't be making up a story. They would be, help me, get me out of here. I want to go back home. Because if you're ever lost as a child, you want to find your parents.
Yep.
You want to find your home.
Yep.
Have you ever gotten lost as a child?
Not that I remember.
I do. I've gotten lost twice. One was at Six Flags with my parents. I think it was just with my dad, maybe. I had to go like a little Looney Tune. I was like, hello, I lost my parent. I'm just by myself. And it happens like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, they're not looking, you walk off and all of a sudden they're trying to find you and you're trying to find them and you're going opposite directions, you know? And then one was I was at a supermarket and I went to go get gum and I came right back and I thought my mom was checking out, but she was already with the groceries watching me, like trying to come to her, like past the line. And I go up to this woman and I go, hey mom. And I go, you're not my mom. I was like, oh, JK.
Sorry.
There are theories of maybe what the children were or where they were from. So one theory is that the children were Flemish refugees. So around this time, there were many Flemish immigrants that lived in England. Some communities spoke languages unfamiliar to English villagers, and their green skin may have been caused by malnutrition. A condition called chlorosis or green sickness can give a skin like that greenish tint. So if the children were starving and sick, that might explain the color.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, if they were truly that malnourished and sick, they would be eating bread.
Yeah.
I mean,
all things.
Of all things, at least bread. You know? Because I know certain people don't like certain foods, but I mean, if you're starving and you're that malnourished, where your skin is truly changing a color, you'll eat the food.
Yeah.
You know, it's natural instinct. You know, it's like,
do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah. Like I'm sure you would be eating bugs if you had to eat bugs. Like you don't want to, obviously, but if you're truly in that fight or flight of life and death, you're going to do whatever it takes to not die.
Yeah.
You're going to try to survive. That's the human instinct, you know? So if these children were so malnourished. I don't buy that because I think they would have eaten at least bread.
Yeah.
At least bread. No matter how dirty, moldy, whatever, pick it off. Eat the rest of it. You're so malnourished, you don't care. Just something, at least a calorie or two, Also, why would beans be the only food they recognized? And why would they be telling that story? Because again, we just talked about how if children were lost, they would want to go home. There is another theory that involves arsenic poisoning. So certain poisons can cause like greenish skin and discoloring. And if the children had been exposed to toxins in their environment, it could explain the strange color. But again, this is the medieval times.
I feel like everything was probably toxic in medieval times.
Everything was toxic. So come on.
Including every person you see on Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh, such a good series. Oh, I hated the way it ended though. I still want a spinoff of the Children of the Forest. I still want that spinoff.
Maybe they're children of the forest.
Maybe they are the children of the forest. Truly, because yeah, they were like almost like greenish kind of beings. They looked very like branch-like, very nature, very that's a good theory. Oh, and it's very Twilight, very probably green and lush there. Another theory is nothing explains their story.
That's a hell of a theory.
Exactly. Some folklorists believe that the children were described something like an underground realm, and so it's a world beneath the earth, a land of twilight. Some even connect the story to fairy folklore, and in medieval stories, fairy realms often existed underground, not in a different world or a different, like it could be the same playing field, and just past the river, it's a fairy world. That folklore comes from underground. So their world is truly underneath us in this different world. So that explains like the cave, right?
Yeah.
And so some believe also that the children may have wandered out of something like a fairy mound or a portal. Remember when we went to Scotland, we saw those fairy mounds? Remember the fairy circle? Mm-hmm. Remember we got really out of breath walking up? Not the lighthouse, but the other time.
Yes.
Because damn, I didn't realize Scotland was going to be fat camp. Remember how magical it felt?
It was.
It was and it was so green looking too.
It was that one where your dad went off on the random little hill, right?
Yeah, he was trying to go up the big thing and he was like, oh shit, this is steep.
Yeah, and then he got like halfway up and he's like...
Yeah, he was like waving us on the... So it was cute. Another theory is interdimensional, possibly aliens.
That's the one I'm going to go with immediately.
I'm going to go with fairies. I'm going to go with they're fae.
Yeah.
And you're going to probably go with their aliens.
Actually, I'm going with my new theory.
What?
The one I said a minute ago. Maybe they're children of the forest.
That's one hell of a theory, though. It really is. Modern paranormal theorists have taken the story even further. So some believe that the children may have come from another dimension. Others say that the story resembles modern alien abduction encounters, the strange language, the strange appearance, sudden appearance in a remote location, a very remote location.
Yeah.
This isn't like modern times, right? You can't just take a bus.
You can't just take a bus or get on a fucking plane.
Or walk or ride a bike or drive a car over there. And also the memory of traveling through darkness. So if this happened today, people might assume an extraterrestrial involvement. So people nowadays would think it's aliens.
Yeah.
But back then, they more thought of fae and fairy-like.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with fae.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
You're leaning right now more towards aliens.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean towards fae.
Yeah.
Fairy, fae, children of the forest, whatever that even means, they're that.
They're that.
They are that. So were they lost children, fairy folklore, something paranormal, or related to aliens? We'll never know. The girl that survived, so we don't know much about the boy, right? Because he ended up passing away very young, very early. But the girl ended up surviving and may have even been recorded her name and identity later in life. This is very Jacques Saint Germain sounding.
It is.
And I know we did that earlier already.
No, that was actually episode 5.
According to the Chronicle of Ralph of Coggeshall, the surviving girl eventually grew up and lived in the nearby village King's Lynn. Later historians interpreted claims she was baptized and given the name Agnes. Some records say she became known as Agnes Barre, Barre. She eventually married a royal official named Richard Barre. And Richard Barre wasn't just a random villager. He served under King Henry II and worked in the royal court. He worked in the royal court.
Royal court.
I don't know. Sometimes I talk in like a southern twang will just come out. I don't know what's going on. Damn.
I think it just happens living in the South.
I don't know. So I think it's just like if I'm tired, I talk like that. Or if I'm drunk.
You let your guard down and don't mask your Southern accent.
I know. It's like, oh shit, they know where I'm from now.
They know I'm from Texas.
But the strange part is the girl who supposedly appeared from another world in a wolf pit may have ended up living a completely documented medieval life. Isn't that something to think about?
That is something to really fucking think about.
And also, too, why didn't she want to go back? Why would you want to be in this world?
No shit.
You know what I mean?
Is their world that bad?
Like, come on. It can't be worse.
I mean, twilight all the time. That's like the best time of the day.
I know. It's my favorite time of the day.
Yeah, I mean,
it's my dad's favorite time of the day, too.
That's what it is right now.
It's so nice. And I know with like our podcast, we talk about a lot about hauntings. I mean, it's in our name, right?
Yeah.
And to me, this is haunting because it still haunts people after all these years. I mean, we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Green Children of Woolpit remain one of the most mysterious medieval stories because, unlike most folklore, it was written down by historians who believed it actually happened, where folklore travels down, verbally.
Yeah.
There could also be some written passages, but usually it's not by historians.
Yeah,
This was historically documented, like our Haint Blue episode, historically documented. And no one still has been able to fully explain it. And us humans, we like answers. Long after the villagers of Woolpit returned to their fields, long after the wolf pits collapsed back into the earth, the story remained. 2 children appearing where no children should have been. Speaking words that no one understood, claiming they came from a place where the sun never fully rose. Maybe they were simply lost travelers from another land. Maybe sickness painted their skin strange colors. Maybe historians misunderstood what really happened. But there is one detail that still lingers like fog over a quiet English fields. The children didn't say they were lost. They said they were trying to find their way back home. And somewhere beneath the soil of medieval England, there may still be a place where the ground sinks in strange ways. Old pits, dark tunnels, forgotten passages where the daylight fades. Places where the boundary between worlds may not have been as solid as we think. Because history doesn't always give us answers. Sometimes it leaves us with stories. Stories whispered across centuries. Stories that remind us that the world might be stranger than we're comfortable admitting. So if you ever find yourself walking through old fields and you hear something crying beneath the earth, you might just want to think twice before looking down. And if you enjoyed tonight's episode, share it with a fellow ghoul. And if you have a strange story of your own, an encounter, a mystery, or something you've never been able to explain fully, send it to us at howdy@hauntmates.com. Your story might become our next listener tale. And remember, some doors in this world may not lead where we think they do. Until next time, stay spooky.